Asterisk, asterisk. The myth we've been sold, why more money won't save Black entrepreneurs. Asterisk, asterisk. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's going to challenge everything you think you know about entrepreneurship, about capital, about what it really takes to build something that matters and lasts. And I want to start by telling you about a woman who is changing the game in the most profound way. Her name is Shawna Robinson, and she is not just funding businesses. She is funding dreams. She is funding humanity. She is funding the whole person behind the vision. Shawna is leading the charge at Camelback Ventures, and through her work, she is proving that when we invest in people, not just profit, when we see entrepreneurs as human beings, not just business plans. We don't just change companies, we change lives, we change communities, we change the entire ecosystem of what's possible. I had the honor of sitting down with Shawna, and let me tell you, that conversation shifted something deep inside me. It made me question everything I thought I knew about success, about hustle, about what we've been taught to believe is the path to making it. And what I learned from her is so counter to the narrative we've been fed that I knew I had to share it with you. Here's the story we've all been told. If Black entrepreneurs, especially those of us coming from under resourced communities, just had more money, we'd finally break through. More capital equals more success, right? That's the equation. That's the formula. Hustle harder, grind longer, get that funding, scale fast, survive the chaos, push through the pain. And if you can just make it through, if you can just hold on long enough, you'll come out on top. But here's what I want you to sit with for a moment. What if that's not the whole truth? What if the real game changer isn't just more money, but something deeper, something that actually sees you, that honors you, that treats you like the full human being you are, not just a return on investment? What if the secret to thriving isn't about surviving faster, but about being supported fully, holistically, with trust at the center? That's the disruptive truth Shawna Robinson shared with me. And it's the heartbeat of the work happening at Camelback Ventures. They've invested over $10 million dollars in ventures led by entrepreneurs from underinvested communities. And many of them are Black founders tackling some of the hardest, most urgent problems in education, in health, in workforce development, in justice. And here's what makes this revolutionary: they're not just writing checks, they're rewriting the entire playbook. Let me break this down for you because this is where it gets real, where it gets transformative. We live in a culture that glorifies the grind. The hustle culture has convinced us that if we're not exhausted, we're not working hard enough. If we're not sacrificing our peace, our health, our joy, our relationships, then we're not serious about our dreams. We've been conditioned to believe that rest is laziness, that boundaries are selfishness, that asking for help is weakness. And for Black women especially, we've been taught to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, to be the strong ones, the ones who never break, never rest, never falter, never ask for anything. We wear our exhaustion like armor. We call it strength. But Shawna Robinson and the team at Camelback Ventures are dismantling that lie. They're saying, what if we stopped treating entrepreneurs like machines that just need fuel and started treating them like human beings who need support, who need community, who need rest, who need to be seen and trusted? What if we invested not just in their businesses, but in their whole selves, in their sustainability, in their capacity to keep going without burning out? This is trust based funding paired with holistic leadership development, and it is revolutionary. It is disruptive. It is the future. Now, let me tell you about three founders who are living proof of this model. These are real people with real stories, with real struggles, with real impact, and they're all part of Camelback's 2026 fellowship cohort. First, I want you to meet Brianna Baker. She's the founder of Justice for Black Girls, and she's based in Arlington, Virginia. Brianna is fighting for the rights of Black girls in justice systems, advocating for those who have been historically excluded, overlooked, dismissed, and undervalued. She's standing in the gap for young Black girls who the world has decided don't matter. And think about the challenges she faces every single day. She's navigating chronic underfunding. She's up against systemic barriers that were designed to keep her out. She's building something that matters deeply, something that could save lives, change trajectories, rewrite futures. But the world isn't exactly lining up to invest in justice for Black girls. The world isn't rushing to fund her vision. But then Camelback Ventures stepped in. Brianna received $50,000 in trust based funding, not a loan she has to pay back with interest, not capital with strings attached that will strangle her mission. Trust based funding. Money that says, we believe in you, we trust you, we see you. And alongside that money, she got 4 months of intensive coaching, peer learning with other founders who understand the weight she carries, and access to a national network of investors and supporters who are committed to her success. This wasn't just about scaling her venture, this was about sustaining her as a leader. This was about making sure she could keep going, keep fighting, keep building without losing herself in the process. And the result? Brianna is accelerating her work towards systems change. She's building something that will outlast her, something that will echo for generations. And she's doing it without sacrificing her humanity, without burning out, without breaking. Now, let's talk about Gerald Rains. He's the founder of Culture Fix by Rains in Houston, Texas. Gerald is transforming organizational cultures for equity. He's helping companies build inclusive workplaces where everyone, and I mean everyone, can thrive. He's doing the deep, difficult work of shifting culture, of challenging bias, of dismantling systems that have been in place for decades. But here's the thing: Gerald is a Black founder working in a competitive sector, and he's doing it in an environment that doesn't always offer the support he needs. He's facing the same survival mode pressures that so many of us know too well: the pressure to prove himself, the pressure to be twice as good to get half as far, the pressure to keep going even when the resources aren't there. But through Camelback's fellowship, Gerald got that same $50,000 in trust based funding. He got executive coaching, he got access to an ecosystem of people who believe in him, who see his vision, who are invested in his success. And what happened? He didn't just scale his business, he refined his strategy, he deepened his programming, he prioritized sustainability over speed, he chose depth over hustle. And now, Culture Fix by Rains, it is modeling what it looks like when Black led firms drive industry wide equity. Gerald is proving that when you invest in the whole person, not just the business, when you give someone the space to breathe, to think, to grow, you get lasting change. You get transformation that ripples. And then there's Kwame Terra. He's the founder of BEHR Health Systems in New Orleans, Louisiana. Kwame is using electronic health records and AI centered innovations to improve health accessibility for communities that have been excluded from quality care for far too long. He's addressing health disparities that kill people. He's building technology that could save lives. But building health tech in under resourced areas is expensive. The barriers are sky high, the costs are crushing. And for founders like Kwame, the pressure to survive, to just keep the lights on, can overshadow the mission to thrive. Camelback gave Kwame that same $50,000. They gave him cohort based learning. They gave him coaching to refine his innovations, to sharpen his strategy, to build something scalable and sustainable. And the outcome? Kwame is making real progress toward equitable health solutions. He's doing it with a focus on his own well being. He's not just building a company, he's building a legacy. He's positioning Black innovation as essential, as necessary, as central to national health systems change. These three founders, Brianna, Gerald, and Kwame, are living proof that when you pair capital with holistic support, when you treat entrepreneurs as whole people with whole lives, when you prioritize depth over speed and community over competition, something magical happens. Real, sustainable, world changing magic. Now, let's talk about what this means for you. Because here's the truth, and I need you to really hear this. Most of us have been taught that entrepreneurship is a solo journey, that we have to figure it all out on our own, that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that rest is for people who aren't serious, that if we're struggling, it's because we're not working hard enough, we're not smart enough, we're not enough. But Shawna Robinson is showing us a different way. She's showing us that the real power isn't in doing it alone. The real power is in being supported. It's in having people who see you, who trust you, who invest in your full leadership, not just your business plan, not just your pitch deck, but you. It's in building within a community that holds you up when the weight gets too heavy, that reminds you who you are when you forget, that celebrates you when you win and catches you when you fall. And here's the thing, this isn't just about entrepreneurship. This is about how we live our lives. How many of us are walking around in survival mode right now, thinking that if we just push a little harder, sacrifice a little more, carry a little longer, we'll finally make it? How many of us are exhausted, depleted, running on fumes because we've been told that's what strength looks like? How many of us have convinced ourselves that rest is a luxury we can't afford, that softness is weakness, that we have to keep the cape on or everything will fall apart? But what if strength isn't about how much you can carry? What if strength is about knowing when to put the weight down? What if the most powerful thing you can do is ask for support, set a boundary, take a rest, and trust that you are worthy of care, that you deserve to be whole, that you don't have to earn your peace? That's what Soft Girl Era is all about. It's about releasing the cape. It's about redefining strength. It's about embracing softness as a radical act of self love, as resistance, as revolution. And it's about protecting your peace as a practice, not a luxury. Shawna Robinson and Camelback Ventures are proving that when we invest in people holistically, when we create spaces where founders can be fully human, when we prioritize sustainability over survival, we don't just build better businesses, we build better lives, we build stronger communities, we build a more equitable, more just, more compassionate world. So here's my challenge for you today. What if you redesigned your entrepreneurial journey, your career, your entire life with trust based support and holistic care at the center? What if you stopped trying to do it all alone and started seeking out the communities, the programs, the people who see you as a whole person, who honor your humanity, who invest in your well being as much as your success? How would that shift your path from survival to sustainable impact? How would that change what you're building? How would that change who you're becoming? This week, I want you to commit to one thing. Seek out one network, one program, one community like Camelback that invests in your full leadership. Find the people who will support not just your goals, but your well being, your joy, your rest, your peace. Find the spaces where you can be soft, where you can be real, where you can be fully unapologetically you. Because here's the truth, sis. You are not meant to do this alone. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are not meant to sacrifice your peace, your joy, your health, your life for success. You are meant to thrive. You are meant to be supported. You are meant to build something beautiful, something lasting, something that honors every part of who you are, every dream you've ever had, every version of yourself you've been too afraid to become. And when you do that, when you step into your soft girl era, when you release the hustle and embrace the holistic, when you choose yourself without apology, you don't just change your life. You change the trajectory of everyone watching you. You give permission to every woman who's been waiting for someone to go first. You become the proof that another way is possible. So I'm asking you today, right now, to make a choice. Will you keep hustling yourself into exhaustion, or will you choose wholeness? Will you keep surviving, or will you start thriving? Will you keep the cape on, or will you finally put it down? The world doesn't need you to be superhuman. The world needs you to be whole. The world needs you soft, rested, supported, and free. That's where your power lives. That's where your impact grows. That's where your legacy begins. Now go find your camelback. Go find your community. Go find your soft and watch what happens when you stop surviving and start living.